everybody, MinerBiker here. So I've got a lot of comments both in person and on Instagram and YouTube about the pedals that I use. By far the most common comment is something like, those pedals are massive. And yes, they are kind of big, they're kind of heavy, and definitely a little bit different. But there is a method to the madness, and there's a reason that I've not used another pedal besides these for the last 3 years since I got my first pair of them. So I'm not getting compensated for this review in any way. I just want to share some information about my opinion on what I found to be a pretty amazing product. So to give a brief overview, these are the Catalyst pedals. They're made by Pedaling Innovations in Grand Junction, Colorado. The inventor, James Wilson, he's a longtime mountain bike skills and strengths coach. He based the design of these pedals on the simple fact that by supporting both ends of the arch of your foot is far more stable than it is when it's only up on just the ball of your foot like a conventional pedal is. If you don't believe this, or you want to see an example of it, go to the gym, try and do a deadlift or a squat, only standing up on the balls of your foot and only your heels touch the ground. It's very unstable and nowhere near as strong, and you risk injury doing it. So that's the theory behind these designs, is by, as you can see here with my flat pedal shoe, you can see how it supports both up here on the ball of your foot and clear back here to your heel and bridges over the arch of your foot. So that's the theory behind the design of this. And so that stable mid-foot pedal position, it allows for better recruitment of your big powerful hip muscles to drive the pedal stroke, which studies have shown actually produces as much or even more power than the theoretical pulling up on the backstroke like they say you're supposed to do with clipless pedals. Also, having both ends of the arch supported, it takes a lot of strain off the Achilles tendon, the knees, and other parts of the body that aren't designed to take that much stress, and so it reduces the risk of pain and injury. But I won't go any further into detail on the design of these. I'll put a link right up here and in the description to Pedaling Innovations website, so you can go check out more details about the science and stuff there. So basically, these pedals claim 3 things. 1, they claim to produce as much or more power than clipless pedals. They provide the obvious benefits of flat pedals, and they're claimed to be better and more natural for your body to use. In my experience over the 3 years, I have found these claims to be true. So I've spent time on different kinds of clips and different kinds of flats, doing all different kinds of riding, and the feeling of being stood up on the ball of your foot with all that stress and all that force going through your ankles and your tendons and stuff just never really felt that comfortable or stable. And when I first tried the Catalyst pedals, that was the first thing I noticed, was just how stable that big platform is. It feels like you are standing on the ground. When pedaling, both seated and especially when you're standing, which I'm a big fan of, I really like standing pedaling, you can really feel that power coming from your big hip muscles, which happen to be the biggest muscles in your body, so they're good muscles to use. Especially when you pair these pedals with an oval chainring, like the Absolute Black chainring I really like to run on my bikes, then I've found that I can actually climb loose and technical terrain that I used to spin out on or just not have enough power for. I can climb up it now and pedal with more power than I ever could before. And also, since you're using your biggest muscles and you're taking some of that unneeded strain off your knees and ankles and tendons, you can actually pedal harder for longer without discomfort and pain. And then there's the big obvious benefits of flat pedals in general, such as they force you to learn and use correct techniques for hopping and jumping, descending. You're also able to dab and bail when you need to. And frankly, one of the biggest things for me, you're able to wear a lot more comfortable shoes for just regular use, and especially for hiking biking, which I do a lot of. So personally, I get annoyed when I hear the common opinions in the bike industry that flat pedals are for beginners and then you quote unquote advance to clips. or that you have to ride clips to be fast, or that clips are without question more efficient and more powerful. Based on my experience, and my riding, it's simply not true, regardless of what the industry in general says. The supposed benefits of clips are really just compensations for your body being forced into a less efficient, less stable, less safe, and less comfortable position than it naturally wants to be in. Until I first heard Pedaling Innovations claims and science, I've been basically following the normal industry standard of starting out on flats and then switching to clips because that's what I was supposed to do to become an advanced rider. But then when I read about Catalyst pedals, it really made sense. So 3 years ago, I gave them a try, and personally, after using this Catalyst pedals for everything from backcountry, cross country, and adventure rides to fat biking to crazy technical stuff to full on and winning enduro races, I can honestly say that these things work. Another very common comment that I get, or question, is with pedals this large, don't I get a lot more rock strikes? Well, if you think about it, the only two aspects of the pedal that affect rock strikes are the thickness and the width, not the length. And so, since the Catalyst pedal is actually just as thin, or in some cases even thinner than a typical flat pedal, and is also no wider than a typical flat pedal, you actually don't get any more rock strikes. And if anything, you actually get less rock strikes, because with the Catalyst pedal, your foot is able to stay more level while driving with power, instead of either dipping the toe or the heel like you sometimes do up on the ball of your foot, which can lead to rock strikes. So if anything, you actually get less. As far as maintenance of these pedals go, I do clean and re-grease the spindles about probably maybe once a year. It's really easy to just slide it out. You just clean them, re-grease them. It's quick, easy, takes just a few minutes, and just keeps them running real nice and smooth. I still have my original 3-year-old set of Catalyst pedals. I've had these for 3 years. They've got some scars from some hard use, but they are still going strong. I have never even actually had to replace the bearings themselves in them. The most I've ever had to do to them was replace a couple of pins that got busted off from really hard rock strikes. That's the most I've ever had to do to these, other than just a little routine greasing here and there. These pedals do also come with sets of a little bit longer pins. So like these old pedals, they still have the shorter pins here in the middle and then the long ones on the corners. These pedals I'm currently using on my bike have long ones all the way across, so you can make them just slightly more aggressive. Anyways, as I'm sure you can tell by now, I really do love and believe in these Catalyst pedals. My wife, she also uses them on her bike. My mom, she's been mountain biking pretty much since it's been a thing, so like 30 plus years. And she switched to these a year or two ago and absolutely loves them as well. Simply put, they do what they claim to do. At first, the difference may not seem real huge when you first get on them, but like a lot of things, it's after you've used them for a while and you really start getting used to them, that then you go back to riding on a regular flat pedal, or go back to your clipless or something. That's when you notice they're a really big difference. So, are these pedals heavy? Yes, they are a little bit heavier than your standard pedal, but the benefits and the performance far outweigh the weight. There are people who run these on their road bikes, BMX bikes, things like that. Can they take a beating? Yes, they certainly can. So these ones, my old ones here, they're pretty scarred up, and it scratched off the paint and maybe chewed up the edges just a little bit, and I've had it, like 2 of the pins have been broken off and I had to replace them. Other than that, they handle it just fine. I have smacked these things so hard into rocks and stumps and stuff on some of the riding that I do. I hit it so hard that I just shot right over the handlebars, and the pedals were perfectly fine. Never had a problem with that. Do my feet come off when I'm jumping or descending? No, as long as I'm using correct flat pedal technique for jumping and descending, which obviously flat pedals force you to use. Big question, do I think clips are bad? Not necessarily, but personally I prefer flats, and I really truly believe, based on my experience, based on science, that with the right flat pedal design and the right technique, the idea that clips are necessary to get more power and speed is simply not true. But in the end, like so many other things related to bike setup, pedal choice comes down to your personal preference. So if you have any further questions about these pedals, let me know in the comments below. Also, make sure you check out the pedalinginnovations.com website, where they've got all the nitty-gritty details about the design and how they're made, and why they made them and how it works and everything like that. So thanks everybody so much for watching. If you want to see me riding these pedals to victory at the Eagle Point Mini Enduro, check out this video right here. And if you want to see me smashing rocks on these pedals down Captain Ahab in Moab, check out this video down here. If you haven't subscribed to the MinerBiker channel already, please do. Thanks so much for the support and for watching.